it references, I've reached out to you several occasions, have not received any replies to date, but the way he's positioned everything around that line, I think it kind of works in this email.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting.
It's funny. I wanted there's things about it I don't want to like I feel like
Right.
it's wordy. It's a little too wordy, right? I
Yeah.
think that there's probably some edits you could do to take some of these words out, but it's not crazy. It's definitely not over the top wordy. Um, I think that again, like something like I've reached out to several occasions following initial discussions, haven't received any replies to date. It's because in this context, it's not trying to make them feel bad and pressure them into doing something, although it kind of is. And I guess this goes back to my overall feeling about the breakup email. A couple things. One being, we talk about fads, about things working for a while and not working. And the breakup email was absolutely one of my favorite things to do for a while, 3-4 years ago, because it worked. It was effective. It was a great way for finding that 10% of your lead base you're going after that hadn't responded to you, not because they weren't interested, just because they'd kind of, they'd saved your email, they put you to the to do later pile, and by kind of threatening to leave, you're forcing them to say, oh, no, actually, I am interested. Let's talk now. And that kind of worked. But it's been used so much by everybody that I'm not sure that actually works anymore. I'm not sure that's effective. And the other reason why I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the breakup email these days is because once you send it, you're basically telling them, you're promising them you're not going to follow up again. You're promising them that you're not going to, and I think that's a mistake. I think what you want to do is put them in your cold file, and 90 days later, 120, 180, whatever you're, create a standard operating procedure around. But, someone not talking you down does not mean they're not interested. It means it's just not a good time, right? And so automatically assuming because you sent 5 emails over a 14-day period and didn't get a response that they have no interest in you or your business, I think it's a mistake. So I think you definitely don't want to automatic say, hey, we're not going to call, I'm not going to contact you again. But, because you're now asking them to come contact you, right? You're asking them to do the hard work. So I think I would maybe experiment with kind of a semi breakup, which is basically this, but then instead of I'm taking it out of my follow-ups, I'm taking it out of this, and it's more letting them know you're going to recontact them in 90 days or giving them a specific time you're going to contact back. So I think that's going to do the desired effect of the breakup email used to do, which is either going to be like, no, take me off your list entirely, which is okay. That's okay, right? That now knows that's not a good customer. Or, it kind of leaves the lines of communication open. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great point. I do like how the sign off is with, happy to speak with you when you're ready to invest resources into generating leads from your site. So you're kind of signing off with, your value prop once again and letting them know what they're missing out on, which I think is a pretty smooth close. But yeah, I agree. I think, keeping it a little more open-ended so that, you could have easily said something along the lines of, perhaps in, maybe next quarter or later this year, your priorities will have changed and, we can touch base then or something. But, I definitely like how it ends with kind of closing off with that value prop that they're missing out on. This next one is kind of interesting because, the whole, like, I think you need a better, we're closing files for the month. I mean, nobody really is doing that per se. So it's not necessarily believable, but, I think beyond that, it's, typically when I haven't heard back from someone, it means they're either really busy or aren't interested. If you aren't interested, do I have your permission to close your file? Which I think is great because you're inducing a response, which again, all of your emails should be kind of catered towards that. You want the reply, you want to show that engagement, you want to keep your future deliverability high. But I also like how this ends, if you are still interested, what do you recommend as the next step? Kind of gets them to think about it a little bit, So again, obviously either one of those induces a response. So I kind of like this one as a closer. I'm not a fan of the subject line, and I'm not a fan of that reason. But.
Yeah. So this is a straight up Sandler. This is a Sandler script.
Yeah.
So this was actually written in the 70s when this would have been a cold call, right? Which would have been like a face-to-face cold call or over the phone cold call is when you would have said this. Because then remember, when you say close your file, people actually imagined there was a manila file of them, right? Like there was a filing cabinet and files, right? And so like that's literally what it was. And so that wording was very powerful at the time. And so yes, but I do like I still think this technique can work if you're going to do it this way. But I agree with changing the words a little bit. So I just change a little more to a little more modern. Take you off my list, right? Remove you from my territory, remove you from my prospects, whatever, right? But yeah, closing. No one has a file, right? And it sounds almost FBI-ish, now. But at the time it was done, it was very powerful. But I love the closing line. That's probably my favorite part of the whole email. Hey, if I've gotten this wrong, what do you recommend to do next? It's a great, clear question you're asking them. And, and I think it would be kind of fun. I think you're going to get some fun answers, what you do next, die, die a slow death, sales rep, right? But I mean, but the reality is that, again, that's actually, we joke, but that's not a bad thing. You want responses, even if they're negative responses. It's better than just crickets. So
Damien going with the sales history from the 70s.
Look at that. Yeah.
So this last one, I mean, I don't think I want to spend too much time on. I mean, this is just, man, this is bad. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I love that, there's this little section here. I removed all the fluff from my previous emails, and then we,
right.
that's 3. Yeah.
So I think, funny enough, I agree. It's a bad email. But you know what? It's one of those things that if you like 180 degrees of this email, and it's actually a really good email. So I actually like the opener. It's a lot of eyes there still, but this is I can actually kind of deal with it in this space. Like I've reached out to you in the past, understand nobody likes being ambushed. I think that's good actually. Never, ever, 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 ever say the truth is, or let me be honest with you, or because you're inferring that you have not been truthful or honest to that point. Just remove that from your vocabulary. That is a horrible way to say something. But, actually saying, I don't mind the whole I've removed all the fluff. Just like, basically say, look, I've reached out in the past, understand that, a lot of people don't like getting these emails. I'm just going to remove all the fluff from my previous emails. And then instead of saying we're Uber Flip, we do this, we do we, instead just reverse it, get rid of that whole part, but then reverse engine. The next part's actually not bad, right? So, allow you to manage all your content easily, allow you to better tailored content experience. So like, just make those questions, right? So be like, is managing your content difficult, right? Would you like to be able to better tailor the content experience to your target audience? Are you interested in generating more leads by gating your content? Like boom, boom, boom. Like that would be powerful, right? Like just getting all the fluff away and just saying here, reverse engineering those 4 or 5 value propositions you have and just doing it that, right? And then even if I kind of don't hate the 92.8% part, right? That's one of those pattern interrupts. It's a weird number, so people are going to look at it and say that's interesting, right? So I don't actually hate that, right? But again, you've got to reword all of the I's and we's and us's. And, you can't say I'm going to remove the fluff and then basically give me 3 lines of fluff. We do it better than we do it better than anyone else. Oh, that's horrible. We do it on time and under budget. So it's just just horrible.
No,
We're the best.
You bring up some good points there. I think overall in reading this, my takeaway is this guy's very confident in what they do.
Yep.
I mean, the confidence exudes from this email, which, is an important aspect. I mean, you get a lot of emails that are, like you said earlier, wishy-washy and I think maybe possibly we could help you, you see a lot of those tones to cold emails, but this is very direct and comes off very, very confident. 92.8% confident, in fact, but you can sense that in the actual email copy. But yeah, I think it's a little long. I think right before you say I'm going to remove all the fluff, you just have 3 sentences of fluff. A great point on the whole truth is aspect. But yeah, I think this could be redone and be effective. And I think you gave a great example of how to do that by converting some of those into questions. But yeah, I think, this is still going to miss the mark, in its current format.
Absolutely.